Hey there, I'm MechaKojira. I hope you're having a good one today. We are going to be ranking one of my favorite game series alongside Halo and Yakuza, Crash Bandicoot. I'm kind of excited to rank these. I haven't really ever fleshed it out on a tier list before, like you're about to see. Honestly, half of the ones that are on this Tiermaker list are mobile games, because I forgot how many mobile games come out for some of these franchises. And not to mention, I never owned any of the ones on Game Boy. So, it's mainly going to be mostly just the racing games, Crash Bash, alongside the main titles and the re-releases of like the remakes and such. So, yeah, let's get into it, huh? Okay, let's start up here. I guess we'll just do top down. I could do some of these that I've never played. I kind of want to weed out the ones I haven't played. Let's do that first, because I think that'll help. That'll help with the, sorting out the list better. It's funny. Some Crash fan are you? Some Crash fan I am, apparently. Holy shit. Why are there so many damn mobile games to Crash Bandicoot in particular? Wow. Alright, now that we've gotten that out of the way, we're gonna start, finally, rating games. And we're going to start with... It's been a while since I've played some of these games, so I'm going solely based on what I remember. And what I remember about Crash Bash, I believe that Crash Bash is one of their most underrated games. I think a lot of people, from what I've heard and from others' opinions and the such, is that some people didn't like it as much as me and my brother may have, due to some of the design choices they made. But I am going to actually put immediately Crash Bash as an S tier, between the memories I have and how good and the variety of mini games are. And if Yakuza has taught me anything, it's variety and trying new things in mini games and such. Very, very important. And it was nice. Like, they had one that was like Bumper Balls, hopscotch paint game. There was like a maze tank game. Just to name some of the ones, there's like Tip the Ice. I believe you could probably see those in that Mario Party. There was definitely a few I'm missing, but every tier was kind of like warped. You'd go up a tier and it would be a different or hard. The AI would get harder or the levels would get harder. And it was entertaining. I really enjoyed it. So it's gonna be an S tier for me. I have not fully gone through back like I have been wanting to play this next game, Crash Bandicoot 4. About time. And it is about time, because we had a decade-long drought of no Crash Bandicoot games, which is a shame. At least like mainstay Crash Bandicoot games. As you can see down at this fancy list of never played, you could see that there were plenty of mobile games to have come out. I don't know what the time frame is. Maybe a bunch of these were around the time the mainstay games were still popping out, but I think Crash Bandicoot 4 is a very good return to form. It was well designed, variety of characters, different levels shaped in, while maintaining to the old style that they recently went back to with the remake in the Insane trilogy. So very nice to see that that they were good. So I'm going to put it... I'm trying to think of any gripes I may have had, and I don't think I had too many. It's very long, but I'm not going to hold that against it. I will not put it as high as Crash Bash, but I will put it on the tail end of S because it was very good. How many Crash Bandicoot games? These are all mobile and Game Boy games. These are all the mainstay ones. So I'm just rating the mainstay one because I haven't played any of these mobile type games. So that's about 22 here, and then you got 20, so that 27 that I haven't played, mainly because it's the mobile section. So there's a decent amount. Great games. I really have fun with them. Crash of the Titans. So, man, we're going from S to a lower Crash Bandicoot. This is a tier of Crash Bandicoot that I believe is unfortunate that it was... You know what? Trying new things is always good. You know, usually you want to dip your toes in changes that you'll make. Like, you know... Yakuza, adding a new mini game, see if it's popular, or... Ooh, we'll try this new feature, and you know, and my biggest gripe with the game wasn't, funny enough, riding the Titans wasn't, the gameplay was fine. It was not what you're used to Crash Bandicoot, but it was okay. The problem that I have with this is between the weird voice changes and character design changes that they've made with Crash of the Titans. It is most deservedly, and I'm only putting it up here because riding the Titans was fun. It's a D. A low D. It is borderline F. It is high F, low D. So this may change as we go through the rest of these, but it is definitely one of my least favorites. The main strength I have of holding this up is me and my sister went and 100%ed it together, and we don't have many of those moments throughout our life. So that's what's holding it up by glue. So yeah, so I think barely hangs into the D category. It was a co-op Crash game, so that was a cool little feature as well. Crash Bandicoot 2. It's weird rating 2 before 1, but I gotta say, Crash 2 went from the standard island style that they were doing with the first one and immediately shifted, if I remember correctly, to like the center elevator with all the things. They kind of like stuck to that for this and the next one. And Crash 2 is good. I think Crash 2 didn't implement the races yet. It implemented Warped. I think Warped was like the racing, like the bike racing and stuff. But I can't remember if 2 had the polar bear races, like the levels where you would go through, and those were just super fun. I definitely think out of the first 3, it's probably my second favorite of the original trilogy that they came out with. Funny enough, I would actually rate this an A, not S. I think 100%ing it was nice, and it's a great game, great story, as usual. Crash game, you know, the story isn't exactly the strength. Cortex, it's like Cortex does this thing or whatever, but the characters are always great, and it was a good game. You know, one of the best, I'd say. Helped traject the Crash Bandicoot franchise to the 30-something games you see. And some of these DS and advanced games were, I'm assuming the advanced games were, fucking N-Gage is on here too. I forget about that system in the long-lost tombs of systems that have been throughout our gaming history. It is not remembered often, but it is a part of that history of lost consoles. I faintly remember Tag Team Racing. I believe that is the one. There's like a 3D open world one. I could be wrong. We had a partner. I didn't play it that much, But I'd say out of all the, if I'm comparing it to other Crash racing games, I would have to give that one a C. I didn't play it much, but it was alright. It was fun having the tag team style. Wasn't a bad game. Crash Twinsanity. This is the game that added Nina Cortez. Good character. Cortex, I believe. Then she was the villain, and it was good. I faintly remember the story. It was very linear, because in comparison, like all Crash games are quote unquote linear, but there's a level selection. This is more of like a typical story game, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. It's been so long, but I definitely remember not liking it as much as the other one. I will have to say, this is probably my least favorite Crash game. I believe Twinsanity, I do not have the same level of either memories attached, or this would, like I said, this one's held up by the memory of my sister. Outside it would be right here. So I think I'm gonna put it F. I think that'll be Twinsanity will be our first F tier. I think it's my least favorite of all of them. Probably wouldn't play it again. Except for if I ever do a franchise run from start to finish. And that's just that. And this is Crash Nitro Kart. This is not the first one, but the second one. And this, between all the time trial challenges and the introduction of, I think, End Time was in this one. Unless I'm thinking of a different one. It was... Yeah, you got an F tier. You got... So I will have to put this one up there. I will actually say a high A. I think it's right underneath S. I gotta say. It's an amazing game. And Crash Team Racing is the best, you know. Obviously, Crash Bash up there holding strong, high S tier, you know. Still up there, one of my favorite Crashes. The new one was fantastic. But I'd have to say Nitro will be that one. Moving on to the next one is the Insane Remastered Trilogy that they came out with. Or a remake. I guess it's like a remaster more than a remake. But being able to select any of the games you want, 1, 2, or 3, having the 3 that made this franchise into what it is today, mixed with all the other stuff that we've had along the way. I would have to say that Crash Insane Trilogy being this is the reason I believe I think the CTR Nitro Fueled came out before this. Did it? Didn't that come out? Didn't the Nitro Fuel come out before this? But whatever the case, it's definitely up there. I'm actually going to put it above Crash Bash. Just because it has all 3 games. And it's a modern version of that said game, playable on my PC. And it was fantastic. And I'd love to go back and get all the time trials and 100% all of the 3 that are in there and 100% that, because it's one of the best. It brought Crash back. And you can't take more from that, you know? It brought Crash Bandicoot back. And CTR, I will say I do like Crash Bash more than CTR. Crash Team Race, Crash, yes, but CTR gave us a whole line of a rival to Mario Kart. This is one of the only games besides, like but that I can think of that rivals Mario Kart. And now we rate the game that started it all. Crash Bandicoot. You awaken on a beach when you first start your game on an island, and there's 3 boxes. I would have to say it's not my favorite in level design, but considering it started everything between gameplay, the original story, and the level of difficulty that this just throws you onto, and I love difficult challenges to a point, I'm sure, but I've been on that difficulty kick, and this will probably be an S, the low end of the S tier, because like I said, there's play choices that they've definitely improved over time, but yeah, I think that just is self-explanatory. Waking up on the beach, getting your first Ooga Booga mask, and just trouncing through the level. I love it. Crash Bandicoot Nitro Kart. This is the one that has one of my favorite lines in it, in all of Crash Bandicoot, and it's from Tiny. And I remember hearing it for the first time alongside my brother, and if this is the correct one, I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. And it is Tiny Planet number 1, and he just holds up, he has 4 fingers, and he holds up 3 fingers for 1. And it's just a stupid joke that in the moment was hilarious, and Tiny is just great. So I'm, but see, and the gameplay was cool, having like a little open world element, selecting your level and stuff like that. This one, I believe, had it too, but I think this one did it better. This is the new Nitro Fueled. I have played it, and it is amazing. It literally pops up. It literally takes I think these two. I think it takes this one and this one, Nitro Fueled and the original, and then adds some new content. I believe it added some new content, characters-wise. Maybe some racetracks. I do know that there's something new in it. I feel bad because I haven't spent as much time as I'd like to in it, so I can't put it above the original CTR because I haven't spent enough time in it. So I'm going to put it below Crash 4, but above the original Crash. Listen, Crash Bandicoot games are fire, all right? So that's what we're gonna get with that. This is Crash Bandicoot Warped, number 3. This is the one with Dingadile. This is the one with new enemies and the cool spinny elevator thingy. I think they started it in number 2, but they did it way better in this one. Or no, and this is, they implemented like a motorcycle type levels with Wampa cannons, and Uka Uka was at his prime with Cortex and the such, trying to take us out. And I will have to say, I would probably have to rate this as the highest Crash Bandicoot. That's just where it's got to be. It just hit every note correctly for me. So the only thing that rivals it is Insane and Crash Bash. So, and 3 is my favorite of the original trilogy. Between all of the hilarious moments that they hit, the amount of completion you could do with it, the style that it's placed in with the level selector, which is always cool because they've always tried new level selection type things for each game. I have not played this game. It is the sequel to Crash of the Titans, and I have not played it. And if I did, I don't remember playing it. So that is going to go right down here. So that is, I refused to play it, and I didn't have access to it. That's the main part. So I would have at least tried it. I like to at least try things, but yeah, Mind Over Mutant, I'm pretty sure I never played. If I have, then it belongs in that pile. Then, because that's where I'm putting it. Wrath of the Cortex, I'm surprised, is the last one on this list. This was the 4th. This was the follow-up to 3, and I think after this one, came Twinsanity. So this is where things started to get, I will have to say it's not a bad game. It's a good game. I like Wrath of Cortex. They introduced Crunch. I believe Crunch is in that. Crash Bandicoot. There's a lot. I didn't realize there was this many. I knew there were some of these like Game Boy Advanced ones, but I'm going to place this as a B. I think this is a B. I think it's above Nitro Kart. But I would have to say, if you need to take a screenshot, here is my tier list of all of the Crash Bandicoots. So that was my video. That was my tier list of rating every Crash Bandicoot game that I've played. Because holy shit, there are way too many fucking mobile games. Apparently, the DS games I heard, some of them were actually really good from what I've heard. But I am going to get out of here. See you guys later. I will see you in the next video.